Hello and welcome. It's come to my attention that some people need a little quick tutorial on how to start playing Elite Dangerous with the release of Gamma. So I came here and I decided that I would make just a quick overview of how to get started. Um, if you're not one of the backers who gets a crazy ship and uh, and 3,000 credits or whatever they get, so they can actually start trading instead of running silly missions before they can actually afford to upgrade a ship. Um, it might be helpful to know how I started and how you can start too. Because really, it's simple. It's not hard. You just have to get the mechanics down and how the game works. Uh, I'm not going to go over keybinds or any of that stuff. That's stuff that you can do on your own. As a matter of fact, there are tutorials which will be able to help you. So, without further ado, let's go over to the main menu. Once you log in, you'll be presented with a nice little screen similar to this. And it has tutorials, which is blocked by my webcam. Actually, let me get rid of some of this other crap. Uh, da, da. Yep, no, I want to get rid of that. See, that's silly. All right, so you'll see when you log in, you'll have tutorials up at the top. And if you click on this, you'll have your pilot's license stage 1, stage 2, 3, 4, and 5. And these all are designed to help you so that you can do better when you first get out into the elite world. They're not representative of what's actually in elite, but they do help as far as getting control of your ship, especially the docking. Docking is probably one of the more difficult things in the learning curve, but it is something that you have to learn to play the game. Back to the main menu, we have start, friends and private groups. You can invite your friends. Uh, oh look, see, I have a pending request right here. Drake Ragnarok. I will accept him. You have your groups. These are groups that you belong to. We have IP Freely. That's my commander name. That's my group. SSC, Shadow Soldier Corporation, Arma Swiss. All right. My group, it tells me who is actually currently in my group. And you can even block players because, let's face it, there's some assholes out there, and we got to get rid of them. Uh, let's see. Exiting out of that, report a player. Pretty straightforward. Options. In options, you'll find some pretty important stuff. Graphics, obviously, you got to optimize that for your machine. Audio, once again, volume levels, optimize it so that it works for you. Controls. If you go into controls, there are a crap ton of different of different settings. There are so many functions in this game. I actually play with a Cytec X52 Pro and a Logitech G13 just for some added miscellaneous buttons. But as you scroll down, you'll see just there are just so many options. You have vertical and horizontal thrust, your lateral thrust. You can do independent forward thrust, targeting, deploying your hard points, which is actually your weapon. So we'll show you that too. Uh, your communications. Navigating the control panels has its own set of controls, and then the galaxy map, which is useful, but it's limited right now. Also, this little guy, clear save. Clear save is kind of cool. Uh, if you do something, say you have a faction that you want to be friends with, but you screwed up either by killing one of their system authorities inadvertently or shooting at them, or any number of things. You can actually clear the save and start from the beginning. We're not going to do that for this video. Languages. All right. Let's see. Credits. I think that's pretty much everything. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go into Start. I'm going to go into my private group, uh, just because then I won't have to see any other players and we won't run the risk of anyone trying to gank us, which does happen from time to time. You start out in your ship, and you have 3 control panels that are important. The first one is going to be your navigation. This has any missions that you have. They're listed under transactions, just because I guess technically it is a pending business transaction. Contacts, anyone that's around the inside your sensor range is going to show up here, and you can select them, and you can even select sub-targets if you're going to attack them. This is especially useful. You used to be able to attack the cargo hatch easily and make them drop their whatever equipment they have. Um, it helps if they're trying to run away. You can disable their frameshift drive, or even just their drives in general, their engines completely, so they're stuck in the water. Shield generators, and this one has a frameshift drive interdictor. So cargo, if you have a cargo scan, you can see it says activate cargo scan. You can scan their cargo, find out what they're having, if they're even worth your time. You can see things are starting to populate in my little private world, so there are more security service transactions. Navigation. All right, now I don't have quite the standard Sidewinder. I do have a hauler. That's the ship that I usually run around in for right now until I can get a Lakon. But this is the hauler. This is pretty much what you start with. I have one basic modification that I've made that I highly suggest for a starting pilot, just because you're going to make your credits faster so that you can move up to that next ship, whether it's a hauler or it's I guess Viper. Some people will probably go to because that's more of a fighter ship. But all right, so back to the navigation panel and the galaxy map. This will show you your galaxy with all of the jumps that you can make currently. Not necessarily all at one time. If you go over to here, you can see, do a little bit of playing around. You can see if you have no cargo, how far you can jump. And then let's see if it'll do this. When I go ahead and see how that changed a little? When I shift how much cargo I actually have in my ship. If I have no cargo, I can make the jump between 23 Epsilon Cephi and Cephi Sector RDT. As soon as I go up to, let's see, there we go, looks like 7 tons. A little bit more, I guess 8 tons would be where it is actually. Or, sorry, I am all sorts of messed up. 5 tons of cargo, I can no longer make that jump. All right, so that's something to pay attention to. And let's see if we have any missions here. But first, again, because I'm scatterbrained, this is your status menu. It's on the right-hand side. I believe it's number 4 by default, but it could be 3. I have it mapped completely different. And you have your reputation, which you can see who you have, positive rep with or neutral. Once you start gaining reputation with a faction, it will actually, you'll get an arrow next to neutral pointing up, or if you're going the other way, pointing down. Your finances, how many credits you actually have, how much your cargo insurance is, your ship insurance, how much it will cost to rebuy your ship if you total it. Statistics, current assets spent on outfitting, combat, how many crimes. I did actually, right before I made this video, I did commit a crime. I trespassed into a into a bay, into a spaceport, and that kind of sucked. Market network, how much you've made trading, highest profit from a transaction. I haven't done much trading. I've been doing mainly missions. Permits. Everyone who's playing in Gamma should have a Sol System permit. Some people will have a Founders World permit as well if they're an Alpha backer. I am not an Alpha backer, therefore I have a Sol permit, and that's it. Then we're back to reputation. To the left of that, you can see your ranks in combat, your trading ranks, and your explorer rank. You also see your current balance, once again, your insurance rebuy cost, if you have a local bounty, and your local rep. Moving over, modules. Modules is an important one. If you look at the bottom, you'll see output and usage. Your output is how much power your power plant is actually putting out. If it's damaged, it does put out less power, it runs less efficiently. You're going to have to start shutting off systems. You'll see 81%. This ship is using 81% of its power. If I deploy my hard points, that'd be your weapons, it's probably going to go up to about 90 or maybe even like 95% power, which is something you have to be careful about. Thrusters, actually, I don't know why those are priority 2. Those should be priority 1. Your shield generator, I also like to have that priority 1. Cargo hatch, weapons, I'll leave as 2. And basically what this is when you start running out of power, what does it shut off first? Actually, life support can even be 2. If your life support fails, you do have a certain amount of time before before you make it back to a space station. Once you dock, it'll automatically replenish your life support, and you should be able to repair. Uh, so, no harm, no foul. Although, one thing I have noticed is that sometimes the repair costs, like on this ship that really only has one thing upgraded, which is the cargo rack, one time it cost me 15,000 credits to repair or 600 credits to replace the ship with insurance. So I took off from the landing pad and I flew straight into the wall and basically just did the insurance thing because I didn't have the money to rebuy the ship, or didn't have the money to repair it, but I did have the money to rebuy the insurance. What else you can do if you're running close to your power max because of your outfitting and you haven't been able to find a new power plant? They are hard to find sometimes. The cargo hatch is usually something that's safe to shut off. So to do that, you just select it, and you can see my power usage drop down to 72 because for some reason a little door on the bottom of your ship uses 9% of the power in your ship. Seems a little unbalanced in my opinion. However, that's the way it is, so you just leave that turned off, and as long as you don't have to dump any cargo to make a jump, or you don't have to drop cargo for a pirate, then you're okay. Even if you do have to dump cargo for a pirate, just tell them, hey, I got to turn the power on at my cargo hatch. You turn it on, drop the cargo, and it's all good. Fire groups, another important one. When you start out, you'll have 2 pulse lasers. They're both loaned. It doesn't mean they do any less damage, really. It just means that when you go to sell them, you won't get anything back for them. You can set things by default. You have your primary fire, secondary fire is 2 taps, and then you can add another. I don't know if there is a max to the number of, I guess, 8 fire groups that you can have. I've never done that. I've never had a reason for it. The highest I've had was 5. So there you go. Let's get rid of those. All right. Cargo. This lists any cargo you have currently in your ship. If you have anything that's stolen, it'll be marked as stolen in here so you know. If you have anything that is for a mission that you took in a bulletin board, it'll say haulage. That's a really good thing to know, once again. And functions. When you go into like a PvP area or a battle zone, you'll be able to select which side of the battle you want to take part in. Usually what I've seen in premium beta and beta, it's pretty much been Aranin versus the Federation. There are going to be more factions, so it could get really interesting really quick. If you don't have your landing gear mapped to a button on your keyboard or on your controller, you can manually deploy and retract here. Same thing with your cargo scoop. Silent running. Silent running is interesting because that keeps you off of the enemy's radar. It's good if you're smuggling something into a starport, but it's depending on your ship setup, it's really only good for I'd say probably 20 seconds max. Just enough to get in the door or to disappear and try and put some distance between you and an enemy. It closes up all your heat vents, so your heat builds up really fast inside the ship, which once you get to about 130%, it starts damaging all your components. Ship lights, you can turn those on or off. You can actually kind of see the difference there. I have a map to my throttle. Let's see, ship lights, flight assist mode. Uh, I haven't actually figured out what that does. I'll let you know once I figure it out. Rotational correction is for when you're in a space station like we are. The space stations rotate, which makes it interesting to dock. But they, with rotational correction, once you get through the threshold, the little letter slot, which you'll see in a second, it actually corrects your ship so that it stops rotating and you can land peacefully. You can turn that on or off depending on your preference. I usually leave it on. Pre-flight checks. I'll show you what this is here in a second. Turret weapon mode. Forward fire locks your weapons as if they're a fixed weapon. Uh, Fire at will fire at any enemy. That's very dangerous. Sometimes people who aren't wanted will be flagged as an enemy, and these will just shoot at it, and it's a really easy way to get a nice bounty on your head. I prefer fire at my target, which basically when you target an enemy and it starts shooting at them, then it gives you a little more control since you can target forward and all of that stuff. Report crimes against me. If you're playing with a friend, you might want to turn this off, depending on what you're doing. Like if you're mining, or if he's trading or if you're giving them something, like you're dropping cargo for a friend. You might want to turn this off because if your friend picks up what you've mined or picks up something from a cargo bay or some cargo that's tagged as yours when it's bought, then you're going to run into some problems. Interface brightness, you might want to turn it down. I've been playing with this. Right now, the way they have it tuned, it looks fine all the way up for me. And gun sight mode, trailing or leading. I actually prefer leading. I don't know why it was set to trailing. Some weapons, physical projectile weapons, have a secondary reticule that it tells you where you need to aim, like it would in real life. So that's pretty self-explanatory if you've ever flown. Sensor scale type, logarithmic. You can have linear or logarithmic. It's just how it scales. Logarithmic does the more people you have in one area, in like one certain area of your radar, it's gonna. I don't even know how to explain it. Mess with it, you'll see it, you'll understand. And self-destruct, that's self-explanatory. I think there's a warning. I'm not going to hit the button. But basically, if you're out of fuel, your engines are dead, you're stranded in space, no one's coming to help you, this might be the only way to continue on with your game. Hope you have the insurance money. All right, so that's that. Starport services, because we're all going to start in a starport somewhere. Station services, you can refuel 10% or refuel all. I recommend keeping as much fuel as you can, unless you have a fuel scoop, in which case you can just fill up at your local star, which is fairly easy. I'm not going to show that here. Basically, you just fly close to the star. Oh, and I just heard gunshots. Repair all. All of these, like as soon as you go into the station services, these are the things that show up, as well as news. You can see who's flown through this area in the past 24 hours. Right now, most people have sidewinders. Looks like there are a few haulers. A lot. This does count NPC as well as player traffic. And then commodity markets. This tells you what's happening with the market in this area. All right. Munitions, if you do have a projectile weapon or missiles or any kind of countermeasures like chaff or heat sinks, munitions is where you're going to go to rebuy and resupply. Repairs, you can see you can repair each individual component or repair everything. You can also repair wear and tear. Now here's the cool thing. Different factions, they react to you differently depending on how beat up your ship is looking. So if you go out into the middle of nowhere and you fly around for, I think they said it's hundreds of light years or thousands of light years, and you never repair the wear and tear, the Federation is going to look down on you, while smugglers and bounty hunters and such might actually be more favorable to you. We'll go ahead and repair that. It's just a little click. Contacts. Pilots Federation, local security office, and the combat bond contacts. This is where you go to pay off your fines, to collect when you start killing things out there in space, and they have bounties. You have to come and talk to whichever faction the bounty gets held at, which is also listed over here in transactions. Um, you have to go and collect the bounty from a station in that section. It would be the Pilots Federation or the local security office that has those. Don't know what the combat bond contact is. Haven't used it yet. Fines bounties. All right. Yep, there it is. Local security office. If you've collected any bounties, that's where you collect them. All right. Let's see. Outfitting. And in outfitting, you'll see your ship with your pulse lasers that are loaned, which you'll get first. Anything. This is cool. This is new in Gamma. This little plus sign right here that you can kind of see my mouse going over. This little plus sign actually tells you that there is something that you can buy for your ship that fits into that slot at the station. Before you had to click and get the "there's nothing you can buy here" thing, but now you actually do get the little plus sign. Countermeasures. Any of that stuff, chaff launchers, they do add weight to your ship, which decreases your jump. You can see the red over here, your power usage, and you can see. Let's see, where is one? There we go. Like the kill warrant scanner, that drops my jump, my unladen and my laden jump distance down fairly significantly. But we'll not be getting anything there. Internal. The things that I think are most important to upgrade are your power plant, because that allows you to get some better components, your thrusters, and your frame shift drive. Especially in the beginning, you want the extra distance, and you want to be able to jump further. You can get lighter with the frame shift drive. You can actually, see, nothing's available, so I can't even show you. You can get frame shift drives that consume more fuel per jump, that have a higher fuel jump limit, which means that you can jump further by default. I think frame shift drive probably has the most to do with your distance to jump. As you get higher in the level, this E right here is level. I believe they go. I think it is actually HI, maybe I to might be K, but I think it's I to A. And as you get closer to A class things are actually the best that you can have in slot. Let's see, like what's this? Shield Cell Bank B. So this would be better than a Shield Cell Bank C, D, E, I, anything like that. If you see A's, they're usually really expensive, but they're also usually worth it. And then this. Originally, this slot right here is in your starter. It's a basic scanner. You're not going to be doing much exploring in your Sidewinder, I don't think. The Sidewinder's just not made for it. It doesn't have the jump distance. It can't carry enough fuel to go that far. I would replace it with the Cargo Rack Capacity 2. It's 1,000 credits. Yeah, see, there it is. For your first 1,000 credits, you just get that, and that way you can do some of the, instead of doing a mission where you have to carry 3 items for 2,000 credits, you can now get a mission where you carry 6 items and get 6,000 credits. Usually once you get it, there's substantially more credits to be made, or you can get 2 of the 3 item missions. It just gets a lot better. And then I go up to the hauler. I'm primarily a trader. I can dogfight. I've had fun with it, but I like exploration and trading a little bit better. Commodities market. Each place has its own set of goods that it can that it buys and sells, and you can see the price as well as the galactic average. When you're first starting out, you're not going to be doing much of this. Uh, First reason is you only have 4 cargo space, which means your profit margins are going to be really small. Um, Even when you get 6, it's really not worth it. The other reason is that, I mean, you start out with 100 credits, so you're pretty much, I mean, there's nothing you can't even buy hydrogen fuel. Um, I guess you could buy 2 fuel or food cartridges, and it looks like the galactic average price is, pretty. It's, there's a decent profit to be made there, but you have to find a place where it'll be able to be sold. That's going to be problematic for a player starting out. So, what are we going to do? We're going to go to the bulletin board, and here we'll see. Oh, look right here. Haulers required for Ross 210 light cargo runs. That's convenient. Let's see. It is 2 items of clothing for 18. Let's see, 15 credits. Now, where is Ross 210? This is where people usually make their mistake. They see the mission and they say, "Oh, I can do that." Well, Ross 210 is 1 jump away from me right now. However, let's see. Ross 210. Okay. And we'll turn the map a little. Ross 210. What happens to that link if I have 2 tons of cargo? Can I still make it? And I can. This is what you have to do. You look at the mission, then you go to your map, and you find out if you can make the jump. There are also things like, where is it? It wanted me to go to Hatch from Sigaru, and you have to make sure that you can make every jump in that chain to be able to deliver the mission. Otherwise, you get stuck with a fine. So we find out that we can make that jump. So we're going to go ahead and accept this. Now that we've done this, oh man, look, I'm missing out on this one. I probably could do that. Yeah, see, I could do that in my other one, but I want to show you guys how to get started with the Sidewinder, and I found the perfect mission. And now we're going to hit launch. I forgot. I turned this on for you guys. This is really nice because if you don't watch the YouTube videos, you don't play the tutorial missions, it pretty much forces you the first time. I guess you can bypass it, but people aren't going to know about it. It forces you the first time to learn your controls. So we'll go pitch up, yaw left, do that, pitch down. You can see I'm just rotating my joystick. Thrust left. Thrust left and right are actually the lateral thrust, even vertical. They're immensely helpful for landing. They're also helpful for pretty much everything. For landing, they're helpful in combat. It's an important thing to have. I feel it's important to have mapped. Target head, primary fire, UI focus, and we are now ready for takeoff. Where are we going again? Swift Gateway, Ross 210. So we're going to lock our destination, and now I get to show you this other screen, which is kind of fun. You'll see my ships there. That's the same landing interface that you have. Use some vertical thrust. Line up with the little letterbox. Make sure nothing bigger than me is coming in. Also, you'll notice I have full power to my system, pretty much. Those are your shields. Pretty much anything that's not your weapons or your engines falls into the systems category. And it's usually a good thing, landing gear up. It's usually a good thing when docking, since it is high traffic, to have your shields fully powered just in case you bump into someone or they bump into you. Now, we're flying, we're in space. What's going on now? If you see in the center, you see my radar. On the right side of that is, well, my far right would be power distribution that's kind of cut off. Ship shield with hull integrity is on the bottom. My speed is on the right, and you can see if I throttle down. When you're dogfighting or anything like that, you want to be in the blue area because that's where you turn fastest. And on the left side of that is the heat has a little fire symbol next to it, 47%. Just a little higher than that is my target that I want to go to. I can actually adjust to where I'm heading. Like right now, I'm heading straight towards the jump point that I want to head towards. If I do a 180, I am now, see how it turned hollow? I am now going away from where I want to jump. So we'll go back. And then next to that is a visual representation of what I have targeted. See, now I have the space station targeted. I don't think there's really much else that I have mapped to target. So that's that. Now what I want to do is I want to jump to Ross 210. In order to do this, you have to have your throttle all the way up. Sorry guys, it's been a long day. You have to have your throttle all the way up, and then you're going to hit the engage hyperdrive. Frameshift drive is charging. It takes time. If you look at my heat, the frameshift drive also generates a lot of heat. If you're mass locked or there's something that's stopping you from jumping immediately, you have to be careful about that. You can use heat sinks to offset it, but it can cause you to blow up if you're not careful, especially if someone just interdicted you. Just watch it. Just watch your heat. Watch your heat, damn it. Alright, so where am I going? Swift Gateway. Where is Swift Gateway? Hopefully it's far away, because I want to show you how to do the... Did I miss it? Oh, there it is. Oh, darn, it's kind of close. Let's see if I can get interdicted. Alright. Now, how to avoid being interdicted. Fly in a long arcing circle. Pay attention to what's on your radar. And basically just don't travel in a straight line. So if I don't follow all of those rules, let's see if I can't get interdicted so I can at least show you guys the mini game. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this time. The one time I want to be interdicted, and it's just not going to happen. This is perfect. One thing to remember when you're super cruising, you want to make sure you have your throttle at about 50%. That way it'll automatically adjust your speed. It'll automatically adjust. It'll basically just, it'll speed you up and it'll slow you down. It makes it really easy to get to where you're going without overshooting it. So here we go. Gonna puff on the cigarette while we wait. That's another thing to remember, guys. As much as I love this game, I think it's awesome, it is not an action-packed game. It's not one of those twitchy Call of Duty shooters. It's not like X-Wing Alliance. It is a relatively slow-paced game. That's just the nature of it. There are 400 billion star systems, and people are going to be spread out. You might not see anyone. You might only see NPCs for a while. Or you might be in one of the galactic, like the major centers, and you see nothing but people. It really depends on what you want the game to be. Me personally, I like being out in the middle of nowhere. I don't like dealing with people. I think there are too many trigger-happy kids out there. But if you want to play, feel free to join my game. We can play. What I just did, In order to dock, you have to go to contacts, and then you're going to have to go and request docking. And you'll see it tells me proceed to landing pad 2. I have 2 minutes to get to 10 minutes to get to that landing pad and to successfully dock. So we're going to go. And right now I can tell because I've played long enough, I'm actually facing backwards on the landing pad. So we're going to turn around, and there we go. Now the 2 is in front of me and the landing pad is pretty much below me, but don't worry about that because we're going to put down our landing gears and we're going to slowly descend and we're going to level out. And you get this nice little thing, and it shows you where you are in relation to the center of the landing pad. This, you do actually have to be pretty well centered. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do have to be pretty well centered. And then it beeps as you get closer, and we have just docked. So we're going to go to Starport Services, and as you can see, there's not as much here as far as outfitting or a shipyard. This is pretty much just an outpost. So we're going to go ahead and refuel, and we're going to go to the bulletin board. And you can see our mission right there. That's the one that we took. We're going to go ahead and we're going to deliver it. And if you watch my credit balance, which is right now 93,797, excuse me, I just made 1,800 credits. And then there's another one here that if I wanted to, I could take this one for 4,000 credits, almost, 4,500 credits now. Quantity of 3, so even in the original starter ship, I could take this one, and it's probably going to be a 2 jump because I see it at 9.37 light years. What is that? That's NLTT 49528. So you just go over here to your galaxy map, and oh, I don't know where that is. What did I say it was? NLT. Crap. NLT 49528. 49528. NLT 49528. Let's find it. Well, that didn't work. I probably typed it in wrong. 49528. NLTT. Got it. T 49528. And let's see, there it is. So now we got to see if I had 3 tons of cargo, could I make it from where I am? And you see all of the select destination. And if you select destination, it shows you all the jumps you have to make. Now, you still have to select each individual jump to get there. So you have to go to LHS 64, you have to go to Hatch, and then you have to go to NLT 49528. But you make those 3 jumps, and you made almost 45,000 credits. So it's pretty much worth it. Let's see. Clear this out. Let's go back to where I was. We're going to head back to Chimaku because I want my hauler back. And this video is almost over. Also, when you accept a mission, there are some important things you have to remember. 1, if you fail the mission, there's a fine. That's usually associated with the cargo transport missions. All right? So don't fail. You'll get that fine. You also lose faction standing. Time left. You have 1 hour and 55 minutes to complete this mission. That's not 1 hour and 55 minutes of playtime. That's 1 hour and 55 minutes of start the clock now at 7:30 here. So you have to be done, by a little bit before 9:30, or else you lose it. Even if you go to bed, the clock still ticks. If a pack of angry gorillas comes in and beats the crap out of you and eats your internet, your cable modem, this timer still goes. All right. So decline. Let's go ahead and lock our next jump, and I'll show you guys how to land really quickly. Shimaku. Oh, I need to. Wish there was a way to. Got to turn that off. I don't want to do that every time. I turn that on for you guys, and here I am going through it again. Landing gear, weapon deploy, target ahead, primary fire, UI focus. Alright, let's get the hell out of Dodge, huh? Functions, pre-flight checks. Fuck your pre-flight checks. Oh, also, if you're worried about your frame rate, Control F will display your frame rate right above where it says Gamma 1. Kind of helpful if you're trying to find those perfect settings for the game for you, just so you know what the game's doing. I have other frame rate monitors, so I don't use it all the time. Sometimes when I'm streaming to Twitch, I'll use it just so other people know what my frame rate is. Because they ask, how many frames are you running this at? I'm like, well, I'm running it at 60 because I have it locked to 60. I don't want it to go over 60 because I'm just a nerd like that. All right. So I'm no longer mass locked, so I can now do my little frame shift jump. And it's charging. I really hope I get interdicted this time so I can show you guys how that little mechanic works and how you can actually get out of an interdiction attempt. Because that's kind of important to know. I might actually just fly around on my way to Lawson so that I can hopefully get interdicted and show you guys. I have noticed the longer I've been playing, the less interdictions I've been getting. Mainly because I've been gaining rep with some of these factions. So we're going to set our throttle to 50. And we are going to Lawson Station, because that's where my hauler is being kept. We're going to go on a straight line, almost 3,000 light seconds. I should get an interdiction, hopefully. This can take some time. Really? No one wants to interdict me? Nobody? I see some little yellow dots. New contact. Okay, so he's right behind me. He might try to interdict me. Usually when the little yellow dot's right behind you, that means you're probably about to get interdicted. So let's see what happens here. Although, of course, since I'm trying to record this for you guys, it means he's not going to interdict me. It's not going to happen. So we'll see. Usually this game is a good game to play while you're drinking because it is kind of slower paced. I enjoy having a nice Magic Hat 9 or a Three Philosophers is really good for this game. Something nice, high gravity. Ooh, so good. Yep, it doesn't look like we're going to actually get interdicted unless they do it right at the last minute, which does happen. They may have turned down the interdictions because people were getting upset there were so many of them, which is part of the reason I was making this video too, to answer that as well as how do I get started. So they may have actually turned that down. It would make sense because before you couldn't make a single jump without being interdicted at least once. And in some cases, like these 2,000 light second jumps, it'd be 3 or 4 times that you get interdicted and have to play that mini game. See, if I turn around, this guy, that's federal security, Lakon. Doesn't look like anyone wants to interdict me. An orca. Sidewinder. Let's see if he's wanted. Bet you wanted people like interdicting. Nope, he's going away. Yeah, he's clean. Alright, we're just going to go land. Basically, for the whole thing of the interdiction is that your screen will turn blue, more or less, and it'll kind of, like if you watch the flow of space, it points you in the direction you need to go, and you need to basically just align yourself with the exit trajectory and just keep aligned with that as best you can. Against the NPCs, it's not too terrible, it's not hard. Against players, it's a little more difficult, a little more challenging. Oh, here we go. Look at this. There we go. There's the interdiction. So, there's our escape vector. And you can see right now I'm kind of losing this one. But as I lock onto it, he filled it. I just got interdicted. See, I said it was easy. And this guy wants my cargo. Well, joke's on him. I don't have any. So we're going to see what he is. Yep, he's a Cobra. So let's see if we can get the hell away from this. Flight assist off. I'm going to do some spinning. Do some spinning because it makes it a little bit harder for him to hit me. We're going to put some more power into engines. Maybe get a little more distance, huh? Nope. Got to get about 3 clicks away from him before we're not mass locked by him anymore. So hopefully, like I said, spinning makes it a little bit more difficult for him to hit me. Oh shit. Shields are about to fail. Let's turn a little. Damn. I might die here. I might die. I have to say that, I want to be interdicted so I can show you guys how to beat it. This actually is the first time that I've ever failed an interdiction. Probably because I was waiting for it. Let's cool down a little bit. And he is gaining on me. So we gotta get some more distance. You'll notice he kind of stopped firing because outside of 2 kilometers, you don't really have a good chance at hitting. 3 kilometers is the max for most weapons. Okay. Let's see. Oh, he's shooting again. But I think I got my frameshift drive charging just outside of his mass lock range. So there we go. Oh crap. I gotta align with trajectory. There we go. I didn't see the trajectory there. That might have just been a little hiccup glitch. Alright, so that is how not to avoid an interdiction. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that happened just because I was talking while I was doing it. Normally, I bite my lip and just go for, just focus. Um, when trying to avoid a interdiction, what the hell is going on with me? When trying to avoid an interdiction, it's best to keep your throttle in the blue until you're locked onto the target or the escape vector, and then give it some gas. And as soon as you lose the vector, go back down to blue until you reacquire it, and then you can just give it gas again. It's usually not that hard. Like I said, maybe that guy just had a upgraded interdiction device. Who knows? But to get away from enemies, especially NPCs, probably not as good for players. You can just turn tail and run. You'll take a little damage. As you can see, I'm down to 79% hull. Not sure what systems took damage. Thrusters. He was behind me, so power plant took a little damage, but it's still outputting full power, so it's not a big deal. And now, finally, at the 51-minute mark, how to dock with the space station like this, because some people have problems with it. And I think, honestly, the docking computer just causes more problems than it actually solves. So, go to Contacts, the Starport, request docking. And docking request has been granted. So we're going to go on in. So we get through here, like I said, rotation correction kicks in, and we're all good. And we just got to find our number 16 landing pad. We have 10 minutes to do so. I don't think I said it, but when you're leaving the station, you have 5 minutes to leave before the station starts shooting at you. It does give you a little bit more time to land because you got to find your landing pad. There it is. And sometimes it's right by the door. So I usually try to go in, get out of the way of the door, and then just do a quick little flip around. Deploy our landing gears. Line up. And drop. So now we'll go to Starport Services. We will refuel. Look at that, only 200 credits to repair. That's not bad. And then we'll go to the shipyard. And you can see there's my hauler that I stored. Options. You can sell it, and you can get back. I know it says negative. That's actually how many credits you're going to get back. That's not how many it's going to take for you to sell it. So we'll go ahead and retrieve our old ship. Retrieve, confirm. Can't wait till I get a Cobra, and maybe I would have fought that guy off if I had it, because Cobras are actually pretty decent at fighting. The truth of the matter is that any beginner, like even anyone who's not good at dogfighting, probably doesn't stand much of a chance in a Sidewinder against a Cobra. But thank you for watching. I hope this helps people, and I hope to see you in the stars.